Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I know I'm a lot late on a lot of videos, so we're just gonna jump right into it. There was some new inks released at Catherine Pooler. It says here June 11th. I am way behind on my inks, so I caught up, and let's get into it. Of course, I have the inks. Luckily, I have all my Catherine Pooler inks in front of me, so I will try to pull out some colors that I think coordinate, and we'll swatch them out. I always get the re-inkers. There was only 2 new inks, but I'm a couple behind. So I believe the 2 new inks are Blue Raspberry and Sweetheart. The ones before that were, I could be wrong, but the ones I got were Blue Raspberry, Sweetheart, Pistachio, Honeycomb, and Amber. So these are not the new release. Just 2 of them are. I gotta check my email now. It might be Pistachio. It's one of these. But Honeycomb and Amber were released a little bit ago. Just a couple months ago. But anyway, let's talk about it. So, I always get the labels as well. And I'll show you what I do with the labels. What I used to do with the labels, I don't have the minis here because right now I don't have my minis unpacked. I will order the minis later. I don't even know where they're at. But what I usually do, first of all, when they come, you get them all nicely wrapped and packaged with this plastic around them so you don't have to worry about them leaking. Why do I love Catherine Pooler inks? Because they are super spongy. There is like, I don't know, 140, 50 colors now. I don't even know how many there are. Pistachio and Sweetheart are the 2 new colors. Sorry. So these 2 are your 2 new colors. These colors were released previously. And then the labels, you get 4 on there. So depending on how you use them, I put 1 on my large ink pad, and depending on your storage system, I store mine sideways. If you do a swatch system, you can swatch, or you can just use these as your swatch system. So this will go like this now on the end. Like that. Oh, did it crooked? And if you mess it up like I just did, don't worry, you have plenty of labels to fix it. Okay, and then that'll go in my storage unit like that. If you get the mini labels, you can store these on the mini labels, or you can share with your friends, which I often do as well. All right, so always recommend if you do any kind of storage or swatching, the labels definitely help, and you get 4 on each label to purchase those. Re-inkers, I can't even tell you how many techniques there are with re-inkers, but let's talk about the inks and let's swatch these out. Why do I love Catherine Pooler inks? Okay, so they are a dye-based ink, except for her new metallic inks and her black ink. Okay, so her black ink is completely its own beast. It's a very permanent ink. It is its own. It's an archival ink in terms of like it will stick to glass and things like that. That is its own beast. The black ink will stain everything. It is meant to be that way. So it's a very good black ink, especially if you are a mixed media artist, but it is designed to be super black, stain everything, stick to everything is what I really mean to say, kind of ink, okay? So if you are looking for a black ink like that, that would be Catherine Pooler's Midnight Ink. I don't use it very often because it does stain photopolymer stamps. But it is an archival ink, and that is what it's designed to do. It is super messy because mine's very old, but very, very good dark ink, okay? That's the Midnight Black. And then her metallic inks, these are pigment ink, and they have to be pigment because they have to hold on to the shimmer, the flakes, the mica, all of that, okay? So the mica in here is very shimmery. If you're going to use these inks, I have said it before, you need to spray them with a fixative to hold them in place, okay? So she's got several colors on these, but these are a pigment ink because they have to be very thick to hold on to the mica, okay? The rest of her inks, are dye-based inks. Now, what is the difference between dye-based inks and pigment-based inks? Well, think about paint and think about dye. So when you dye something, like you dye a piece of paper, which we're going to demonstrate here. For instance, this amber ink. That ink is going to go into the paper. It's going to dye and saturate into the paper. When you use a pigment ink, pigment like paint, think of it that way, is going to sit on top of the paper, okay? So what are the advantages and disadvantages? The advantages to dye ink is they dry very, very quickly. Pigment inks sit on top, so they do not dry very quickly. So you can see as I rub my finger on there, the pigment ink ran. And that's generally the case with any company's pigment inks, okay? So pigment inks are like paint. Remember that? Pigment paints. They're usually much more saturated with color because they sit on top of the paper. But when they sit on top of the paper like that, you do have to wait for them to dry, okay? Dye inks are what most companies use now. A lot of the companies that you see that are out there are dye inks, and that's because they're instant dry. They dye into the paper. They're going to saturate and soak into the fibers of your paper, and you're going to get a much more variety of colors with the dye ink versus the pigment. So think about that. Like your VersaFine Clair inks, these are considered pigment inks, I believe. Yes, pigment inks. So these do take a second to dry, but they're very thick. It's a heavier kind of ink. Your Distress Oxide inks are considered a hybrid kind of ink, but they lean more towards a pigment ink. But Distress regular inks are dye inks. Simon Hurley inks are a dye ink. Gina K inks are a dye ink. So dye inks are just going to have a wide variety of colors. They dry instantly. That's going to be your advantage. So, again, with Catherine Pooler, I don't even know how many there are now. Last I checked, it was like 146. So, it's got to be over 150 some colors now. All right? So, let's swatch these out so you guys can see what the comparison is in colors here. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper here. All right. So, the two newest colors, I'll talk about the newest ones because you guys have probably heard about these and Nancy's just way behind, are Sweetheart and Pistachio, and they are part of the Party Collection. She has two collections, the Party Collection and the Spa Collection, and the Neutral Collection, so actually three. The Party Collection is very bright. I don't have my color wheel in front of me. Oh, give me 1 second. All right, it'll be very bright, very vibrant. And here you can see Blue Raspberry is right below Oh Boy, so it's much brighter. And I don't think I have, oh, I do. Okay, here is the Spa Collection. And on the Spa Collection, this, I don't have this updated, but Amber and Honeycomb are Spa Collection. Spa Collection is a little bit more muted in colors, more of your neutrals. Her neutral colors are going to be her browns, her grays, black. Those are going to be in the neutrals. And then again, she has her new pigment inks, which are going to be the metallic inks, okay? So Sweetheart and Pistachio are part of the Party Collection, as well as Honeycomb and Blue Raspberry. These are also part of the Party Collection. So these four, these were released last month, I believe. Sorry, these are Spa Collection. These three are new in the Party Collection. These were last month or in the month before. These are Spa Collection. Okay, so a little bit more neutral in color. All right. Okay, so you can print these for free, by the way. I'll put the link down below. And then if you wanted to cut out the circle and then you can figure out your color combinations, you could definitely do all of that. All right, let's talk about the two new ones, which are Sweetheart and Pistachio, and see where they go in our thing here. Okay, so I have Cotton Candy. I think it's going to be between these two, Cotton Candy and It's a Girl. So let's see how it compares to those. And I haven't watched any videos. I have been on the road for 5 weeks straight, so you guys will have to forgive me here because I don't know. So do I have a pen? obviously I didn't turn my phone off. So It's a Girl. Cotton Candy is actually, I think, a little lighter than that. And we'll see when they dry. Oh, Sweetheart is a very bright. Ooh, I kind of like that. You know what it does? It reminds me of those Sweetheart candies. Almost has a little undertone of fuchsia to it. I'm bringing in another color here. I'm bringing in Be Mine. Oh yeah, Be Mine is much darker. So you can see how that kind of fills in. Cotton Candy is definitely lightening up lighter pink than It's a Girl. So I would do this one. I kind of put mine in color order here. Let's see here. Let's see Quartz. I think Quartz is going to be super... Well, Quartz is Spa Collection. Yeah, that's not even going to work because that's going to be a darker pink. I think those are the light pinks that we need to compare for Sweetheart. So it's kind of in its own realm of pink there because everything else I have looks like a darker pink. I think I have it right there. So Cotton Candy is super light. It's a Girl is almost like a medium pink. And then Sweetheart, you can see there, is much lighter than Be Mine. Hold that up so you guys can see that. All right. Okay, let's move on to Pistachio. I know a lot of you guys are fans of green. This is a very neat green. I know Catherine Polar has a lot of greens already, but I don't know. This one's going to fall, I think, in its own category. Minted is a mint. How about Wintergreen? Wintergreen is even a mint. Pistachio almost reminds me of a lighter grass green. Because Garden Party is definitely darker. Yeah, I think it falls in its own realm of color here. So it fills in a missed spot just like Sweetheart does on the color wheel. So let's try it with these colors and see how it looks here. So we're going to start with Wintergreen. Oh, that's a Spa color. Taking that one out again. I want to try to keep these in the party collection. Okay, so let's try Minted. Okay, Minted is a very bright green. Okay, and now we're going to try the new Pistachio. Oh, yeah. So I think Pistachio is a lighter than Minted. So I would put Pistachio first. And I say that because if you guys do layer stamping, you want to go lighter to darker. So I think Pistachio and Minted would be brothers. And one is just a little shade lighter. And then Garden Party is just a lime green. So that's not even in the same realm there. The Garden Party would go hang out with like Lime Ricky. So Pistachio I would put next to Minted in terms of color family. And again, I don't have my color wheel updated, so I don't know where Catherine Polar put it. But it's definitely its own color missing in the color wheel. So I'm glad she's kind of filled that out. So I would put this if it's not already. So Minted, yeah, I would put Pistachio here. There, and then Sweetheart would be, I would put it here, lighter than Be Mine. So I will have to go see how I did, because I swear to you, I didn't look up anywhere on, well, that's how I'm going to put it on my color wheel, how it looks on the new Catherine Polar color wheel. And then you guys already saw Blue Raspberry was previously released. Blue Raspberry is lighter than Oh Boy. So I will swatch that out as well just so you guys can see that. And I'm just, you know, unfortunately, way behind on my inks, which normally I'm right on top of everything, but with my move. Okay, so this is Blue Raspberry. Love the name, matches perfectly to the color. Makes me want to go get a Blow Pop. For those of you guys that don't know what that is, it's a popsicle, and it's a lollipop, and it has gum in the middle of it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're definitely right on the money there. That's off the color chart here, so that's perfect. Okay, so that's Blue Raspberry. Okay, and then I don't have the updated color chart for Amber and Honeycomb, but let's see if I can figure out where they fall. Honeycomb, I think, is going to go with, I call it like a flesh tone. That's how I would put that one. So let me grab my colors. That would kind of go with that. I think Amber is lighter than Gingerbread. That's where we're going with Amber. And Honeycomb, ooh, I think that's going to go with Apricot maybe. Yeah, Clay Mask is a little too orange. So I think between Apricot and Creamsicle. Let's try Gingerbread and Amber. Gingerbread, Amber, and Spiced. Okay, we're going to do these first. So, yeah, Amber is more of a brown. Yeah, again, it's just, she's filling in the colors that aren't there. And browns, she was always kind of light on the browns in terms of where we are. So this fills in its own space. These other colors are more of a reddish brown. But I think Amber is going to stand on its own. So there's Amber. That's definitely darker. Ginger. Gingerbread has more brown to it. And Spiced is way more brown. Okay, so that's where Amber is. Amber is definitely a lighter color, but falls, I would say, lighter than Gingerbread. Not as much red in it. So that's where Amber is. Okay, if you missed that one, that's another one that was added in the last couple of months. And then we have Honeycomb. Honeycomb is going to be after Buttercream. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's a very nice color. These names are spot on. Yeah. Yeah, these are orangey. These are going to be too orangey. So, I'm not even going to try Creamsicle because that's not going to match. So, Buttercream and Honeycomb kind of belong in the same color family. So, Buttercream is the lighter version. Honeycomb would be a little darker. Almost like, let's see here, Goldenrod or Shea Butter. Let me see. Shea Butter is going to be dark. Yeah, that's the darker version. So now again, if you're layering colors, this is the order I would do is buttercream, honeycomb, shea butter. These are all kind of in the same color family. Real close with goldenrod. I think goldenrod is slightly lighter. We'll have to wait for them to dry to see, because again, with dye inks, you got to wait until they go into the paper and dry to see where they end up. But buttercream is definitely its own color. Or sorry, honeycomb is its own color, filling in between buttercream and I would say shea butter. And again, I don't have the new color wheel printed out. She has whipped honey. Do I have whipped honey on the color wheel? Here's whipped honey. Let me see here. See, that's more of a yellow though. And this is more of a cream color. So the name is perfect. Yeah, I would put whipped honey down here with these because it's more of a yellow. And buttercream and honeycomb are definitely... Buttercream, they're putting in the neutral collection. So that's going in with the browns. So you can see there it says neutral. And I would agree, that belongs. That belongs in the neutrals. That's more of a brown. All right, so hopefully you guys have had fun. If you haven't caught up on the newest colors that have been released in the last couple of months over at Catherine Pooler, I have a link down below if you guys are interested in doing any shopping. The brand new colors are Sweetheart and Pistachio. Don't forget to pick up your labels, your reinkers, and the minis if you are interested in smaller sizes, saving spaces, traveling, or just because they're cute. And then before that, there was Blue Raspberry, Amber, and Honeycomb. So these are the colors, brand new ones, Pistachio and Sweetheart. Welcome to the party family. Previous to that was Blue Raspberry. Amber is in the Spa collection, and Honeycomb are in the Spa collection. If you have any questions, post them down below. And if you want to know more about Catherine Pooler, check out my playlist that's under Catherine Pooler. Thanks for watching, guys.